Hey guys, it's Bees. So I finally got to raid in the Dragonflight prepatch on my Resto Druid, who I took out of retirement because I am pretty confident Resto Druid is going to be my main in Dragonflight. So I wanted to kick some of the rust off. And I thank my guild for taking my very undergeared Resto Druid into what ended up being a heroic raid. So I got to test out a couple things of Resto Druid in a raiding environment, testing out the new talent trees. So this is what I ran with. So let's just take a look at it, what I liked and what I didn't like. So, I mean, these are the obvious healing talents you want to take. You get Rejuvenation Swiftman, improved Dispel. You want to come over here to get 3 points just to increase your magic and healing by 6%. Healing done and taken increased by 4%. So this is basically 5 talent points to increase your healing by 10%. You want to come down and get Wild Growth. Pick up Renewed Rejuvenation to give Rejuve another 3 seconds. And you probably want to slide over here to get Innervate. Now, I went down and took Nature's Visual, but it was probably really not needed. For the most part, I actually forgot I had this spell when I was playing last night. So it was kind of a waste of a talent point, and really, this is really not going to make or break your raid. If you remember to press it, I mean, it's going to just be 3 free damage on the boss, and you never know, you might have that 0.1% wipe, and if you remember to hit Nature's Visual a couple times throughout the fight, that could have been that last little bit of damage. But this is all pretty standard stuff. I decided to go down this little row here just to pick up some nice defensives. Now, Iron Fur, not really, but the Thick Hide right underneath it, reduce all damage taken by 6%. Sure, I get to live a little longer. And then right underneath it, Matted Fur. When you use Bark Skin or Survival Instincts, you absorb 8k damage for 8 seconds, or a free absorb shield when you hit Bark Skin. Grab improved Bark Skin up here. I also came down here and picked Wild Charge. I mean, Soothe is really... You don't really need Soothe, but you kind of got to go through it to pick up Stampeding Roar, which is always a great utility spell in raids. And then this talent node that basically just says you get free haste when you're in your quote-unquote healing form, which is basically I'm in no form. It's your normal state. I could have just picked up the Nature's Visual or, the Sunfire. There's a couple, talent points around that, I wasn't in there ripping much, so I could have picked up this talent point and slammed it in here to get another 2% haste. Would probably have been the best way to go. So let's see what I picked up here on the right side of the tree. Now this, I was kind of testing things, and I was avoiding certain nodes or not picking up certain talents because I have them as conduits or legendary abilities, which is not going to be an option in Dragonflight. But I decided to skip Omen of Clarity. I don't know if that's right or wrong, but I just... that's more of a personal taste. I decided to take Waking Dream just to buff Ysera's Gift. Make sure to pick up Abundance for each rejuvenation active. Your regrowth costs are, the regrowths are cheaper, faster, and hit harder. I believe that's all it says. Regrowth costs reduced, critical chance increased by 5%. It doesn't cast quicker, but it makes them higher chance to crit. One nice thing is now we can pick up a couple talents that we never really had before in Shadowlands because there was just better stuff in the row. Cultivation, when Rejuvenation heals a target below 60% health, it gives them basically another little hot to buff up your mastery. And Soul of the Forest, when you Swiftman, the healing of your next regrowth and rejuve is increased by 150% or wild growth by 50%. I am so used to raid healing without this talent that I just kept forgetting last night. I had Soul of the Forest. So basically, anytime you want to hit Wild Growth, you want to remember just to Swift Mend someone to buff the next Wild Growth. And it's something I wasn't doing a lot last night. A couple talents I wanted to test out. I wanted to test out Verdancy when Life blooms up to 3 targets within your efflorescence are healed for 3k. I mean, you're going to throw down efflorescence a lot to get Spring Blossom, so I thought, why not throw this on there, see how well it does. I skipped the Unstoppable Growth here because I have the Conduit that does the same thing, but in Dragonflight, when you lose the Conduit, you're going to want to pick up this talent. One nice thing was the Inner Peace reduced the cooldown of Trank by 60 seconds, so it's 2 minutes now. And while channeling Trank, damage you take is reduced by 20%, and you're immune to knockback, which came in handy on Sire Denathrius in Phase 3. He does the big knockback, and I started to channel Trank, and I totally thought I screwed up, but I totally forgot about this talent, and everyone else got knocked back, and I was still tranking away. So, yeah, Inner Peace is really nice in raids. I picked up Tree of Life instead of Convoke because I was running Night Phase, so I had both, but in Dragonflight, you're going to have to pick favorites here. I think Convoke's going to win, but it's going to be so weird not to have Tree of Life in raids. I came over here and picked up Flourish because it's another great raid cooldown to use. I also wanted to test out Embrace the Dream. Wild Growth has a 100% chance if you put 2 points into it. So you want to put 2 points into it if you're going to take this talent. So Wild Growth has a 100% chance to momentarily shift. Let's just skip past all the fluff. It says when you Wild Growth, you heal everyone with your rejuvenations for 2k. Now the whole playstyle of druids in raids is to, well, you want to put down efflorescence to get Spring Blossoms rolling on everyone. Then you want to throw out as many rejuves as you can. And then right when the big damage hits, you want to then Wild Growth. And then roll into some kind of cooldown. Tree of Life, Convoke, Flourish. And you never want to stack them all on top of each other, but you want to use something. Now I always cheat and use Tree of Life and Convoke for the most juicy Tree of Life healing and the most juicy Convoke healing you have ever seen. But I just like the idea of this talent because it reinforces what you should be doing. Having as many rejuves rolling before you hit regrowth. I was also wearing the the legendary the rejuve healing has a 2.5% chance to create another rejuve, which is a talent in the tree, which is right here, I think. But there's no reason to take the talent when I have the legendary, but this is going to be the legendary carried on in the Dragonflight. So you get all these rejuves rolling, and then sometimes they just proc new rejuves anyway, so now I've had moments where I get a whole bunch of rejuves rolling, and then suddenly everyone in the raid has a rejuve going on them. Because the new rejuves can then proc more rejuves, and then you just see, it's just so nice to see 20 people with rejuves rolling on them. So yeah, this is what I ran with. So I wanted to look at the Sludge Fist fight. So let me go over and pull that up. So, and I wanted to pick out Sludge Fist, particularly because this is basically like, not only is it a damage check for your damage dealers, but it's also a healing check for your healers. But it's very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Everything is on a timer. You know when the damage is going to come. He does these knockbacks, which hurts. He does the big suck-in, usually on range. That's going to hurt the range. in the melee because everyone's got to split the damage. Here comes the suck. No one stands in it. They almost die. Whoops. And then he does the roars, which does a lot of damage. So this fight is very scripted. So as a healer, you know when the damage is coming, and then he does the big damage when he charges. And so it's a really great fight for Druid. Like you say, here I'm getting all my rejuves rolling. The big damage comes out. I hit Wild Growth, and then I went into Tree of Life right into Convoke, and then big green numbers everywhere. So, like I said, I was very undergeared compared to the other healers. I think I had something like 260 eye level compared to some of the other healers who had 300 eye levels. So I was 40 eye levels under. But this was more about me trying to knock the rust off of Resto Druid. So I'm trying to keep... the chain's on me. But luckily other people stand with me. And then doing what you're doing, I got to follow the square. So I'm slowly trying to get back to the square. Back to the range stack group. But doing what I'm supposed to do, keep efflorescence up, try to throw out a whole bunch of rejuves. I see the charges coming up soon, get as much rejuves rolling as I can. Here we go. Wild Growth. Right into, I think I'm tranking. Yeah. And so, I don't know if I'm playing Druid perfectly, but I'm at least doing a good job at it. I'm sure if I threw this log into WoW Analyzer, it's going to say, oh, you didn't hit your buttons as much as you could. But I think I'm doing a pretty good job for not playing Druid for almost like 10 months in a raid environment and being well undergeared compared to the other healers. So now let's see. Let's pause this. So let's see how I did. So let's go back here, and let's see how these new talents worked out. So let me throw Chrome over here. All right, I don't think I'm blocking anything. So this is my healing on that fight, and this is what did all the healing. And as you can see, these are my big points of healing. Going right into a bunch of rejuvenations. Wow. My one Soulbind Empowered Crystallize did the most healing. So let's go back to WoW here and see exactly how that works. There's a Soulbind ability. I was surprised. Where is it in here? Okay. 10% of your overhealing received or done remains as a shield on the target for 10% of the caster's health, lasting 5 seconds. Sadly, this is not something going into Dragonflight, but this was my highest healing on the fight. So yeah, I'm throwing out all the rejuves on everyone before the big damage comes out. And of course, before the big damage comes out, the rejuves are just going to overheal people. But this conduit, I don't know, no, it's not a conduit, but it's a soulbind ability. It's just turning that overhealing into little shields on everyone. And that just ended up being my number one heal. Alright, so Rejuvenation, Wild Growth, that's 2 buttons I was hitting the most during the fight. I cast 87 Rejuves, 7 Wild Growth. I probably should have pushed Wild Growth a little bit more often, but like I said, Rusty. I hit Trank 1 time, and it did 10% of my healing, just to show how powerful Trank can be if you do your ramp right. Trank heals more if the targets have Rejuves, Wild Growth, and the Spring Blossom hot on it due to my Mastery. Druid Mastery says you heal more the more hot's rolling on them. And then Trank itself puts a hot on them. So that's why you want to have as many hots rolling before you hit the Trank button. Now, Embrace the Dream did pretty well. It did just 8% of my healing. And I only hit wild growth 7 times, so as long as I hit wild growth more and I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, having rejuves rolling before hitting wild growth, Embrace the Dream did fine. But sadly, Verdancy did not do as much healing as I thought. It only did, 2% of my healing, but I think the main reason was I only casted Life Bloom twice. And the problem with Verdancy is I have to make sure to have Efflorescence always rolling, and then always have Life Bloom rolling. And in a raid environment, Life Bloom is not that high on the priority list. It's more about just the rejuves and regrowths ramp into your big cooldowns, and then you're not Life Blooming that much. Cultivation didn't really do that much healing, but that's more because I think everyone is overgeared this heroic, so not a lot of people drop to below 60% health. When you're doing, harder mythic bosses or progression in Dragonflight, this is definitely going to skyrocket higher. So, my takeaway is Embrace the Dream, not bad. I like the idea of it. It just reinforces what you're supposed to be doing anyway. Verdancy, I don't know. I'm going to have to test this one out more, but at least in a raiding environment, maybe not. I might cut this talent in raiding. Mythic Plus, because you're more apt to keeping Life Bloom rolling in Mythic Plus. And also in Mythic Plus, you're probably going to take all the different Life Bloom talents around here, like the double Life Bloom, or the Life Bloom has chances to bloom as it ticks from other hots. So, Verdancy just might get cut for raiding, but I think it's going to be more impactful in the Mythic Plus environment. And just one last little thing, just to brag a little bit. This is the ranking for healing, and I came in at 66%. I was ranked 245 out of 727 Resto Druids that did it so far. But like I said, my level was 264, and look at that fat 100 eye level price. I was the best eye level 264 Druid that did Heroic Slugfist. Mostly because I was probably the only one. So I thank everyone for watching this video. I hope this just shows the idea of how to test out new things and how to look things over afterwards, and just the thought process you should go through as a healer to see how you're doing. So yeah, I thank everyone for watching. See you all next time.